Start a 30-minute countdown timer.
You don't have any notifications.
Start a 30-minute countdown timer.
You don't have any notifications.
Countdown timer, 30 minutes.
30 minutes. Starting now.
See, that's easy, isn't it? Much better than pressing buttons. The reason I'm doing this now, I've just finished shooting a section to camera, and I've got everything laid out perfectly. We've got the lights on, the camera's up on its arm on the wall and everything. I've got a big screen here, like 20-odd inch screen that I can see I'm sort of in focus. Look a bit shiny though, don't I? So, perfect opportunity for doing a bit of an update, end of month update, even though I'm recording this on... I can't even see that. Is that the 21st of February, I think? Of course, the February runs out pretty quickly, doesn't it? The reason I started a countdown timer then with that easy-to-use voice-controlled system is because you might remember the last couple of times we've had a bit of a problem with this because the camera stopped recording after 30 minutes. I know the reasons why. It's all that like tax business and all the rest of it, which apparently they've now dropped on a lot of cameras. That doesn't apply anymore. It was to do with paying different fees for import duty if you were a video recorder or if you were classed as anyway, whatever it is. Apparently new cameras shouldn't have that on, but this isn't a new camera. So yeah, I'm trying to get all this in before the camera stops recording on me. I've just put a new battery in. Not so much to get through, really. Just thought it'd be nice to have a bit of an update again. I'm going to keep it positive this time. Last time I got in trouble because I said a few things that weren't kind of, oh, this isn't so good, that's not so good. Yeah, nobody likes negative news. Positivity, that's what we're all looking at now, positive. So yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things in here that I suppose you could take either way, but I'm positive about them anyway. Right, okay. So I suppose this will be the March update, but it's kind of mid-February. But anyway, end of February, because I know what's going to come for the rest of the month. Let's look at what we did this month in February. Component video, the little television in the hi-fi component, that was at the beginning of the month. I've got the Sony one down here. I'll have to look at that one sometime. The Ruark R4, was it R4? Anyway, that hi-fi that I bought for my parents. I'll be going over there at the weekend, so I'll see how they're getting on with that. I think they're still using it. Hopefully they are anyway. Yeah, that worked out all right for them anyway. As far as views go and things. Of course, the video ended up being more about how DAB radio in the UK isn't that good. Bit of a 2-in-1 video. But I wanted to cover that, but I couldn't just sort of start off and say, oh, DAB's rubbish, and not really have something else to fit around it. It needed a bit more meat on the bones than that. You can't just sit there and talk about something. There's got to be something physical. At least there has for me, the way I do videos. You remember the mini disc? Where's it gone? Oh, it's around here somewhere. Anyway, the mini disc for Anders, Anger Jensen, the Retro Goose Volume 3. Did really well for him, that video. Looking at the views, I mean, it's not a massive number of views, but it seems the people that watched it were quite enthusiastic about it and ended up buying his mini disc as a result. And then he's ended up on sort of back order on that one. He was away from home when that video went live. He was at his parents', I think. And as a result, of course, he gets home and he's like run out of stock. And I mean, it's a good problem to have. I've warned him though. I said, don't get too excited and order too many of them. I mean, you're probably watching this, Anders, because one of the things with YouTube videos is, from my experience, they die very quickly. There's a big, like, woo, hit, and then 3 days later it's dead. So if you're basing what your future on, oh, look, I'm selling 50 of these a day, right, let me order 10,000. Day 5, you'll sell 0 based on my video. It's a shame. Something I've always a bit sad about. I hope this doesn't come across as negative, but, when you spend all that time putting a video together, you put it out, and as a result, it kind of gets views, everyone likes it, who sees it, but then 3 days later it's dead. I mean, there's some of these things I've worked on for a couple of years. I mean, I'm not saying I'm sitting here for a couple of years working on them, but, there's getting things together, collecting things, it's been a big sort of labour of love, and then you put your video out, and it's a bit sad that day when you press, like, publish, because you're killing it. At the time you're publishing it, you're also killing it, because up to that point it was alive, it was all part of something that you were doing. As soon as you publish it, that thing's going to be dead in 48 hours, and they always are. But, that's just the nature of the beast. I'm not complaining. So, yeah, after the Ruark and the mini disc, the Wenner, the watch strap thing. See, there's quite a few modern day things. One retro, Ruark, sort of newish. Mini disc is new, Wenner's new, and I've got another retro video coming out before the end of the month that you'll see here on Patreon definitely before the end of the month. I don't know if that'll be like published before the end of the month, but anyway, that was a good one. I say a good one, it's one where I've been repairing something as well as demonstrating it. It's something that is one of those kind of classic retro collectibles that you see lots and lots of times. I got a really nice example of it, and I thought it was worth showing. Not the kind of thing that you could really use nowadays, but just a nice looking thing that came across well in the video. Yeah, so the Wenner wrist strap thing, I'm using that now. In case you didn't know from the video, I had to republish it afterwards. I've done a lot of that this month. There's been I've made a few cock-ups really, because I put the video out and then 2 days later, well, yeah, a day, 2 later, I figured out how to add notifications that I wanted to it. At the time, of course, I'm reviewing a Japanese one with Japanese instructions. All the help guides are not online for the UK, so it's my own fault. I mean, I'm jumping the gun, but that was the whole idea, trying to get ahead of the curve on it in a little bit, get the video out. But there was no help guides telling me how to add additional applications. Luckily, I figured it out very quickly after the video went live, took the video down, put it back up again. It took about 5 hours before it sort of came down and went back, and as a result, of course, you lose a bit of the momentum, the impetus. But I might have got some additional views of people rewatching it when it went out in notifications. So yeah, I've got the notifications I want on here now. If somebody walks past the house, it'll tell me. If I get a Patreon message, it'll tell me. If it's going to rain, it'll tell all those kind of things. Dark Sky app, I use that. It's a good app. So yeah, I'm happy with it now. I can see it. I've got terrible eyesight, but it says, yeah, there we go. But it only works indoors really. You can't see it outside. I mean, it's a dim display. I don't know why they did that. You'd imagine you could brighten that OLED up. I mean, you can brighten up the TV brightness, can't you? Why can't I brighten this? There's no settings for that. I'll triple check that one. Maybe it's a bit of a faulty one. Maybe I've got a dodgy display on this. It's just a little bit fainter than it should be. Just don't know if you've only got one of something, do you? Another video that went wrong. The component TV I mentioned before, that went wrong because I put the video out. Printer's making noises. It scares me when it does that. You have to have printed something out. About 10 minutes later, it decides to do something. So I put the video out, and you saw it here on Patreon, and it was live for a few days. Everyone was watching it, and then I think it was live 3 or 4 days. I put it out, and I'd done a little snip in it at some point because there was a bit where I'd mentioned that, because this is NTSC tuner, it won't work here in the UK, even if there were analog signals, which there aren't, so it doesn't matter. And of course, somebody immediately says, well, it's NTSC's colour. It's nothing to do with that, and you could maybe just the vertical hold and all that. I thought, well, I didn't want to get into all that. I didn't want that to be the discussion. All the discussions just talk about NTSC when I'm trying to demonstrate. So I thought I'll just snip that bit out. If I don't mention it, no one will even think about it. So I snipped it out. Looked all right. 2 days later, sent it live. About an hour after putting it live, YouTube suddenly decides to reinstate the bit I'd snipped out. But in doing so, knocked the audio out of sync by 7 seconds because it was a 7-second bit I'd snipped out. And then therefore all the audio's out of sync completely with the video for the last half. And people are writing in complaining, why is the audio out of sync? And it wasn't out of sync on, this is the weirdest bug ever, wasn't out of sync on Safari, the browser, was out of sync on Chrome and I think on Microsoft Edge and the ones that use the same engine and stuff. So I was waiting, thinking, well, I've seen stuff like this before, and it kind of sorts itself out after an hour. Didn't do. So I then ended up having to re-upload a new version of it. Now, it takes forever to upload a 4K video. I mean, forever. Especially a long one like that. So it was I was up dead late at night, I was worn out, I finally got it out, got it live, and then, believe it or not, 10 minutes later or so, after I'd delisted the first one, made the new one live, all the rest of it, the first video, it finally gets itself in sync automatically with the bit snipped out again. It was just one of those things, a bit of a horrendous month, February, I've got to say. Things didn't just quite work out for me. Made a few mistakes, but that one wasn't my fault. I'd snipped something, it was working, and it went wrong. Right, moving on. I don't know how long I've got. I should have a timer on that I can see. Hold on. I'll mute this bit. How long's left on the countdown timer? Oh, it's not Alexa. How long's left on the countdown timer?
You don't have a countdown timer.
Good, these things, aren't they? Really good. Well, we'll see if it goes off. Honestly, just rubbish, absolute rubbish. I'll tell you the Google one's a lot better. I've got one of those in the kitchen. That one doesn't seem to be as stupid. Right, a few things people have sent me. A guy got in touch, sent me an email. I don't think he's a patron. He said he was a shortwave kind of guy, into shortwave. I've got to do something about shortwave. I've got a radio here at some point that I need to talk about, all recapped and everything. It's quite a new one. Nice one from Sony. But he was listening to shortwave, and one of my jingles that I'd recorded off the Teffy phone, he heard that used on a jingle on his shortwave radio station, and it's definitely mine. You can hear the static on it as well. I think a few of these things I'll try and intersect them. That's not the right word. Add them into the middle of the video. So let's try and listen to the shortwave Teffy chime.
A world of beautiful music on shortwave. This is Harmony.
Yes, that was my chime added into some sort of jingle on a radio station. I just thought it was interesting. And then another person sent me a sketch they'd done of me. I've had a couple of sketches. Right, well, I'll show you the sketch. I'll put a link in the video description for this one, not in the video, underneath it on Patreon, so you can see the sketch. I'll be honest, it's not... I hope I don't look like that. I mean, I probably do, but I hope I don't. I could do with a bit more of a chin. Everyone's drawing me with a big fat head. I know I've got a large head, but it just looks... Anyway, if you want to have a look at that sketch, I'll put a link there. There's another video people keep linking me to, a couple of people on Patreon, and I thought I'll share it back to the people that haven't seen it. A thing with VHS labels. You've probably seen it, but different boxes of VHS labels animated together. Really nice video, nicely done on YouTube. So I'll put a link to that. Something just to have a look at. It's quite entertaining. Sorry, I'm getting itchy nose. Somebody sent me a link to a video about the Sony Walkman on NHK. I've got it written down here, so I'll link you to that. That's it was obviously one of these Japanese channels, but with one of those strange English voiceovers where the guy talks like this. But a nice little story about the Walkman. Kind of change the story a little bit, I think. I know a little bit more than was in it, but of course you've got to simplify things for TV. So, nice little thing though. Just a good little video that they put together on NHK all about the Walkman. Thought you might be interested in that. And you remember I did the canal walk section on the Wenner video. It's all stripped out of that video now because the bits I said when I was walking with the camera in one hand were all the bits that were inaccurate that needed to come out once I figured out how to do the notifications. But the reason I was doing that, in case you were wondering, I wanted to explain why I did the canal walk. Right. So itchy. My parents-in-law, is that a thing? Can you have parents-in-law? The Mrs. Mum and Dad, anyway. They're off on holiday on a cruise. Somebody's digging up their road to put a new gas main in. Isn't this all exotic? But as a result, they can't keep the car on the drive. So while they're away, they park the car on the drive where I normally park one of our cars. We've got two. I've got a little Smart and a Mini. So as a result, there's a car in the garage all day long where normally I'd have the garage free. So I would have done this whole section to camera for the Wenner thing in the garage with the old projector screen behind me and the lights and stuff. But I thought, well, I can't do that without moving all these cars around. It was such a lovely day, sunny day, best day of the year so far. I thought I'll go for a walk. I need to do more walks, as I mentioned earlier on in the year. I need to walk around a little bit. So I went down to the canal and I thought a good opportunity to test this camera out that I wanted to try out with a new mount system that I'd kind of put all together myself. Mixed results on that one, but I was like doing three things at once. In fact, there's another thing down here. I don't know if I can find it for you now. I'm going to drop everything on the floor looking for it. I shouldn't have started this because when I start doing something... No, right, forget it. I also had a little voice recorder with me. I wanted to test out the quality of that at the same time. So I was doing three things. I was walking because I need the steps. I wanted to do this voiceover to camera thing. Actually, four things. I wanted to test out this new camera and I wanted to test out this new voice recorder thing. So yeah, that was four things in one. As a result, I didn't end up using any of them. But I suppose I'm getting some stuff done all at once. Next thing. I am rushing along because I've got no idea how long I've got left, and we don't want to keep anyone too long, do we? These go on too long. I'll do another one when I've got time. Recently, I've had a bit of a spate. This happens every now and then, where you'll get a channel starting up and they'll just re-upload videos off other channels, and then underneath them they'll say, go to our store or something. It's always somewhere in China, and it's like trying to get you to some dodgy shop. but they just pick random videos. Well, unfortunately, they picked mine, and this has happened before. So they uploaded 10 videos off my channel, re-uploaded them. So, of course, I noticed this. I do a search every now and then for Techmoan on YouTube, and these channels are so stupid, they've still got Techmoan in the title or somewhere linked to it. So I then have to go through the process of requesting takedowns, because of course you can't just let everyone use your videos. I mean, at some point, I think if these videos just get out on so many channels, someone's going to copyright them somewhere else, and I'll lose the rights to my own videos. These weird things happen. So if you see these, you have to kind of report them. So you go through this really long process, reporting each video one after the other, saying, take this down, take this down, take this down. And it sends off to YouTube, and then they come back and say, right, we've took those down. But the weird thing is they don't take down the channel. They just take down those videos. And if you go looking for those videos, it says, sorry about that, this video's been taken down or whatever by Techmoan. I don't like the way they say sorry about that. This stolen video that you wanted to watch, we've had to remove it because this guy has complained about it. Oh, what a pain in the neck. So, but they still, and the weird thing was, okay, so I took those 10 down. They were while I was waiting for that, they were uploading more of them, more videos. Another 10 went up, so I requested those come down. They took those down. The channel's still up because they've only had 2 takedown requests against them, each containing 10 videos. So, third time round, I eventually took them down. Now, you see, this tells you something, because this is automated. If this was, say, some kid in his bedroom somewhere, downloading videos off YouTube, then re-uploading them one at a time. As soon as he started getting takedown notifications saying Techmoan's took 10 videos down, they go, oh, best not upload any more Techmoan videos because I'll get into trouble. But the fact he just kept re-uploading, even though I took them down twice and then re-uploaded again, it shows that someone's got some kind of script that they've just automated, and it's just going to do this automatically, which obviously makes sense. No one's going to sit there doing it manually. But it does take a lot of time out of that, messing about when you shouldn't have to. I think I might be sounding like I'm complaining, so I best not. That's the funny thing. I look around on YouTube every now and then, and I see things that are related to my own videos. I've got videos about cassettes. It's say, if you're interested in this, you might want to see this. I often get my own videos requested back to me, which is weird. I saw one the other day, and it said, cassette hack. How to record over an old pre-recorded cassette. It's just a guy putting tape over the holes in the top. And it just taught me something about experience of different people on YouTube, because, of course, immediately under it, somebody says, that's not a hack, that's how they're supposed to work. And then under that, somebody says, well, we don't all know these things, or something along these. I'm paraphrasing. But, sort of go, oh, well, just because you know, don't mean we know. We weren't brought up with these things. Yeah, lots of people, yes, I agree. Yes, we didn't know about this. This is good to know and stuff. So, it kind of made me laugh that people didn't know how cassettes work. But then on the other hand, it made me kind of think, educate me a little bit as to the fact that when you talk about something, you're talking to a very broad audience of people with massively different experiences. That's the thing with YouTube. You're talking to 80-year-old people and 8-year-old people, and you can't really tailor your audience to a particular group. So that's when I make videos, I try and kind of generalize. I don't want to kind of only appeal to experts, because I couldn't do anyway, because I don't know what I'm talking about, but also just want to talk to kids about stuff that wouldn't understand anything slightly complicated. So it's just pretty difficult pitching this stuff sometimes. That's why, if you ever think that these videos are a little bit general in places, why is he even going over this? We all know this. Well, we all know this is something that not everyone knows. It's amusing. And that's reached the bottom of my list. So yes, you'll have another video coming along in a few days. I don't know. I'm going over to parents this weekend, so I think maybe, I don't know, I might put it out on Patreon on Tuesday. I'm back Tuesday. I'll be trying to recover from that driving experience. I'm terrible after I've been driving all day. And then so there's a little bit of a delay between this and the next one, which is why it's nice to get this video out now, because you've got something to be watching. Obviously everyone's got something to be watching, but I don't want to make people feel I'm neglecting anyone. I really hope this camera's still recording, because if not, I'm just talking to myself. Then I will have, I've just, the video I'm doing now, I'm sort of going to be editing next week sometime. I did another video that was a short video about sort of records and things. I don't know, I might put that out in between. I'm really just trying to keep things motoring along here as best as possible. I've got a room full of stuff, so hopefully I'll get through some more of this soon. I've had a few things delivered today as well. Yeah, that's it. That's all I've got to say for the moment. So I hope your life's going all right. Mine's okay, I suppose. I can't complain, because if I did, I'd get in trouble. So that's it for the moment. As always, thanks for watching.